Man, I had to put my hat on for this one because somebody's capping.
Stop the cap.
Training programs, meal plans, and coaching, make sure you check out Khpfitness and training.com.
What's going on, my fitness seekers all over the world? Khpfitness here, and today I want to talk about some of the myths on 5 articles that I've read when it comes to band training and how they essentially say bands don't work. I believe that 90% of people don't know how to use bands. I'm just going to honestly say it. People do not know how to use bands, and that's the reason why they have such a problem gaining muscle. I recently talked to someone in my comments talking about that, and they say how they struggle for 11 months when it comes to band training. Once you get past that newbie gains phase, muscle gets a little harder to gain. And if you're already a hard gainer, as they say, which is an ectomorph, which if you look at some of my old pictures, I would be considered an ectomorph. And then I've gained as time went on. Now, the picture was when I was around 18. I'm 39 now. So it takes time, man. People don't understand the time it takes, but you keep it longer and you stay stronger from it. People love shortcuts. People love instant gratification. And if that's the best thing for you, maybe you should stay away from trying to get something that's really goal driven and try to take the easy route, like a lot of people do with steroids and everything of that nature. But the real lifters, the real people that's about that and staying on top of it, want to keep their health intact while building muscle in the midst of it, stay with me. I got you. I know I went on a little bit of a tangent, but I'm gonna get to it. Now, one of the things they do point out is you want some good quality bands. That's the good thing too. But I will say, for the most part, if you get some bands that are relatively decent, don't have a bunch of nicks and crannies on them, you're gonna get a really good workout out of them anyway. A lot of people stretch the bands out way too far. That's a big issue. But I talk about that more in this video if you want to check it out. So I'm gonna get back to these articles. I was just having a conversation with a buddy of mine, David, about this too. And every now and then a friend will invite me to the gym and I will get a session with them. And you know what every now and then is? That's every 6 to 8 months. Now, if I could work out with weights and get 8 months of gains in one session, I would be like, man, I'm done with bands too. So that is preview to the bands, working with them exclusively, that I've gained extra muscle from the bands alone. Not just me, but on my clients as well. Each one of my clients have gained muscle over time. You just have to know how to use them properly at the end of the day. So I'm gonna go ahead and read these articles and let you know exactly what I disagree with. But before I do, you know what I want. Oh yeah, you know what I want. Go ahead and hit that like, comment, subscribe. Share this with your friends. Hit that thanks button for the people that are hitting that thanks button. I see you, Sean. I appreciate you, brother. Let's get on to the video. So what they say in themanual.com is that you need to lift heavy weights. While you can lower your muscles with high resistance using bands, in general, if your strength training goal is hypertrophy, dumbbells are a more effective training tool. No, that's just not true. To go against the principle is to say that resistance isn't resistance. If you can provide the stimulus, then you can get to the goals that you're looking for. And if it's hypertrophy, which I specialize in, then you're definitely going to be able to do it with bands. I have conversations with friends all the time with this. It comes from a path of being lazy, man. It's lazy. It's the reason why a lot of people can't go down the more plant-based way. It's lazy. When you're lazy about something and you take the path with the least amount of resistance, then you have to conform to a lot of things. Like I said, weights are great. They are a great tool. I use weights for years, and you couldn't tell from looking at me, but I left the gym 8 years ago, picked up bands 4 years ago. In the midst of that, I was doing still calisthenics, and I had weights at home that I would use as well. But what the bands did is they allowed me to move how I want to and still take a gym where I needed to when it came to clients and everything. And that's why I'm able to thrive in this. So I go hard when it comes to the bands because I know that they work, not just for me, but for everyone. Second article I was checking out here is from bannerhealth.com. It says how to strengthen your muscles with resistance bands. And they're saying that you have to be within a 12 to 30 rep range just to get some muscle stimulus, which is absolute nonsense. You do not have to have reps that high to build strength with resistance bands. All you need to do is use the principles of progressive overload, get a stronger band, more resistance, more tempo, more sets, more reps. That's how it works, just like weights. When you're telling me from rep 1 up to 11, I get nothing. And then 12 to 30 is when the magic happens. That sounds like utter nonsense. I do anywhere between 6 to 10, up to 12 to 15 reps and get plenty of stimulus as I'm doing so. So I'm gonna have to call false on that too. Sorry, Banner. The next article is from mansfitness.co.uk. Say that 4 times fast. How many reps should I do? Resistance bands work particularly well for higher reps. Haran recommends 15 to 30. Just like the last article, man. Just like the last article. Between 60 to 90 seconds of rest in between. That's another myth. You take as much time as you need in between. I do it almost like a circuit training. So when I'm training, what I'll usually do is I'll do a move that's for chest, and then I'll move on to something that's for biceps. Then I'll move on to a move that's for triceps, and then I'll move on to a move that's for biceps, if I do that. Or I'll do like an upper lower is what I'll typically do. Doing hamstrings, chest, back, quads. And so when you do it that way, you're allowing a lot of rest in between. So when they say that you need to be resting 60 to 90 seconds in between, that's not true. It's been a lot of studies that show, and I know that's cliche, everybody goes, studies have shown, but you can look this up. Typically between 2 to 2.5 up to 3 minutes of rest is optimal because you get full rest off that, especially if you're lifting relatively heavy, whether it comes to weights or resistance bands. You need some recovery time. And I go hard when I go. All right, the next one's from BonyToBeastly.com. Bony to Beastly, huh? Look at that, that's catchy. That's super catchy. Good job, guys. They say the problem is resistance bands gradually apply more force on the further we stretch them. True part. Making the bottom of the range much easier than the top. So I've talked about this one before in a previous video. This is true. Bands are stronger at the top than the bottom, but it's not a super difference, especially if you slow down the tempo. Most people shoot through the move so quickly that all they're getting is the fight on the way down. Now the stretch is more important than the concentric because you're going to get that stretch. So if you provide enough stretch at the bottom where enough force is coming, even if the band is easier, if enough force is tied at the bottom and then you're stronger as you move through, you're still going to get that stimulus throughout. And that's how I've been able to grow my arms from 17.5 to 19 inches with that. Been able to grow my chest. I take measurements on these things, man. My shoulders have grown. You can see on these pictures. On the side by sides, I've made some improvements. It says we aren't giving our muscles enough of a challenge at the bottom of the movement, so we aren't getting the full benefit of training at the longer lengths. Exactly, the longer lengths is very important, but that comes down to the manipulation of the band, and that comes down to the quality of the band as well. So as long as you're getting the quality and you're manipulating the bands, you get the best result from the bands. And I tell people this all the time, man. Bands are super effective. They're portable. You check on them like you do anything, and they cost less than any gym membership that you're probably going to be banned from when everything comes into play and they shut things down again. It is only a matter of time, guys. And why is this so important for me to mention this? Because I'm someone that likes to test it out. I'm someone that likes to test it on other folks as well. And I just talk, man. I practice what I preach. And I'm a big component of it's not where you train, it's how you train. I believe that you don't need a gym. You don't need special equipment to get good gains. There's millions and millions and billions of dollars when it comes to proteins, supplements, weight training. My weights, my 45 pound is better than this person's 45 pounder. It's a bunch of garbage out there. And I try to break people out of that nonsense, out of the matrix, as they say. So at the end of the day, you make your choice. But what I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and keep defending resistance band training because it gives you your freedom back. it gives you your freedom back. And that's something you can't replace. Not with all of the squat gyms in the world. And that's all I got for you guys today, man. I just wanted to go ahead and talk about these articles because I thought that they need to stop capping. So I wore the cap for them today. Hope I'm looking spiffy for you guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share this with your friends. Hit the thanks button if you support the channel. I appreciate you guys. I will keep putting out this information, and not just band information, but plenty of information, reactions, everything that centers between health and fitness, and health is physical and mental. If you are interested in training programs, meal plans, consultations, all of that, hit me up at khpfitnessandtraining.com. Don't be afraid to reach out, guys. I will be around. Keep making these videos for you. Keep putting it in, because I tell you all the time, it's not where you train, it's how you train. You take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you soon.